Welcome to Power of the Voice. So happy you're here. We're going to go on a journey over these next few weeks, few days, and we're just going to crack open God's Word and hopefully allow this Word to get down into your spirit, down into your heart, to really change your lives. Listen, you have a purpose. You wasn't made, God didn't create you so you can have the biggest house on the block. He didn't create you so you could have the best car and live in have all the best friends. You weren't created for that. So one day somebody else is gonna live in that house. One day somebody else is gonna be driving that car. Your purpose, your creation, the Creator made you so that He can live inside of you in the earth. That's what you was made for. The Creator of all things, heaven and earth, decided to live inside of you. So today we're gonna go into His Word, so we'll know about Him, so we'll know what lives inside of us. I'm so happy you came today. Listen, I'll be right back. You are watching Power of the Voice. So today we're going to go in the book of Matthew. We're going to be in Matthew 14, chapter 14, verses 22 through 33. Now, I'm going to paraphrase a lot of it because of the sake of time and the sake of reading. But when you get a chance, go back, read it, put you some highlights in it, get you a highlight marker and some notepad. And we're gonna, you can go in and go into the text a little bit more deeper. But today's story is a story about this man. His name is Peter. He's one of the disciples that Jesus has picked to walk with him as Jesus is going to do his mission in the earth. He has now decided to tell his disciples to go over to this other side, to go over to the other side. He has now just came from a place of miracles. They have just seen hundreds of people fed, hundreds of people healed. He's been teaching his word, and they just came from a miracle. Now, the important thing about that is that that's how we are sometimes. God allows us a season of going through a miracle. He shows us his presence. He shows us his grace. He may wake us up at night, or he may have an encounter in his services, or he may just use someone else to speak to us, to be a blessing. God gives them a miracle. And now he wants them to see another dimension of who he is. So he tells them to go over to this other side, get in the boat, and sail over to the other side. Now he leaves. After he tells them to go sail, he leaves and goes over to the other side. And while they're going over to the other side, halfway through going over to the other side, they get into a storm. Yeah, picture that. You making it through the miracle. You just see the miracle. You just see God move. You just see Him provide. You just received a blessing that you just came out of nowhere. And now you're in a storm. And this is not a regular storm. These guys are professional fishermen. Like, getting in storms on the water is not nothing new to them. And they're going over to the other side. And in this storm, sometimes in life, we have these different types of storms. There's thunder. Thunder in a storm is those voices that you hear. It's that sound that you hear. Sometimes it's those negative sounds. It's those negative, you know, things that we hear. Sometimes it's bad conversations from people. It's discouraging words. It's that sound. It's loud. If thunder was to crack right now, we would probably all jump just because of the voice of the thunder. And the show is power of the voice. So sometimes we have to understand the different voices that are speaking. And so the thunder is now speaking, is roaring, is rumbling in the middle of this storm. And there's also lightning. Lightning in the storm can represent those things that flash before your face, things that are quick. It could be an imagination. It could be something that you see. It could be somebody else's circumstances and situations that you don't see. They didn't get out of it very good. It could be things that you see. The lightning could be the stuff that you see. And then also in the storm you have the waves, you have the water. And water is unbalanced. Water would take any shape or form that you put it in. It's unstableness. The ocean looks massive, it looks big, but if you jump into the water, you can disrupt the whole big ocean just by the nature of the water. So in your storm, you could have all of these things going on. The sounds, the crazy voices. It could be the sounds of people. It could be the sounds of, discouragement and disbelief. You can have the lightning. It could be imaginations. It could be other people's circumstances. It could be what you're looking at right now, and you have the imbalance of these waves that are crashing up against this boat and hitting the side of your boat of life, and it's tossing you. And you don't know what's happened. It's completely caught off guard. These guys have just came from seeing the miracle. Jesus has now given them direction to go over to the other side. So they're following where God is telling them to go. But in the midst of going in that direction, they encounter a storm. And you may be in a storm right now. You may be in something that has really changed the whole trajectory of what you have been experienced over the last few months or years. Something that you're going through that has really could change your viewpoint, your advantage point, your viewing, your sight, your ability to see, your ability to think clearly, your ability to understand. And this storm is not just a regular storm. But however, while they're in this storm, they see this figure coming on the water. And they look and see this figure, and behold, guess who it is? You'll never believe it, you'll never guess it. It's Jesus. Jesus is in the storm. Now you say, okay, now help me understand. Why would Jesus tell me to go to a place and then put me in this position to where it feels like I'm losing, or even like I'm going to lose my life? Like, why would God do that to me? Why would God make me have to go through that? I thought he was a good God. I thought he was a loving God. I mean, all you people talk about he's good and he's great. But this doesn't look great. This doesn't look good. As a matter of fact, it looks out of control. Why? Why would God allow me to go through a situation that looks like this? And the reason is very simple. Because he wants to show you that he's bigger than any storm. He wants to show you that he's bigger than anything that you face. Now, this is not a lesson that can be taught in the classroom. It's not a lesson that can be taught on the internet. It's not a lesson that can be taught in a textbook or in a conference. This is a live experience of God showing you that he's bigger than the storm. And what he does is to show you that he's bigger than the storm. To the disciples, he's walking on the water. Walking on the water, right in the middle of the storm. Right in the middle of all the chaos of the thunder, all the lightning, all the waves. Jesus is walking in the storm. And they see Jesus, and because of the greatness of the storm, they just say, what is this? Is this a ghost? This can't be Jesus. Because we in the storm, Jesus was supposed to be over here, and this can't be Jesus, because the storm to them was so out of the ordinary, and because their perception of him only knew him on dry ground. They had witnessed this Jesus that walks in storms yet. They haven't experienced this Jesus that walks in the middle of chaos. And so Peter says to Jesus, if it's you, Jesus, tell me to come out on the water. Tell me to come. And this is Jesus. So like, okay, come on. And that's how it is sometimes. What Jesus will do is He'll allow us to go further than what we experience. Because see, this experience is just not a regular experience. This year, this season is just not a regular season. It's a different season for them. And so what Peter does is that he allows his fear to ignite his faith to walk out to Jesus. I'll say that again. Peter allows his fear to use his faith to walk out to Jesus. Now I thought supposed to have fear and faith, and I thought faith and fear doesn't work, and I can't have fear and faith. I can't be all. There are times in which God would allow you to go past the fear. He would allow you to go past what you're afraid to do, so that He could show you that there's something greater in you than you really realize. He gets out the boat because Peter says he's not going to die in the boat. He'll rather take the risk of going into the storm. Now me, I would have stayed in the boat. Like if the boat would have had to be going down on the ground, I would have had to be holding on to the last piece of the boat before I got into the water, because the storm is out there. The boat is in here. But because he couldn't even really tell the difference, the storm was so bad he couldn't even discern the difference between life or death. Everything was thrown out the window because how chaotic this storm looked, how uncomfortable this place he was in, how unsure this place that he was in, that he was just saying, listen, I ain't staying on the boat. I'm going to make a move. And so he makes a move. He goes out to Jesus, and as he gets out to Jesus, he's walking on the water. Now, that's amazing to me. I can't go. I don't want to go any deeper because of the time. But the molecular structure of the water changes. It turns from a liquid to a solid. While there's all types of storms going on around, the water is every imbalance. It's his faith that allows him to change his surface of where he's walking. He didn't know by stepping out on the water. He had no idea. He had no clue. By stepping out of the boat onto the water, that the surface of the water will change. How can I make that make sense to you? It's not until you take the opportunity to go out into a place that looks completely chaos before you see the miracle. You have to be willing to take a chance on something that looks completely crazy. Nobody else in the boat got out of the boat. Peter was the only one that was going to take the chance to get out of the boat. He was the only one having a conversation with Jesus to get out of that place. And he was going to risk it all. He was going to risk it all for a thought, if this is Jesus. It doesn't even say that he knows this is Jesus. It says, if it's you, tell me to come. He not even with assured confirmation. Sometimes in life we're looking for confirmations for stuff before we move. Before we go to the next place, before we go into the next dimension, we're waiting on the confirmation. Well, I got to have 4 dreams. I got to have 2 prophecies. My left eye got to twitch. I got to dance in a circle 3 times to know this is you. No, he says, listen, if this you, I'm coming. The worst thing that can happen is that he stays in the boat and the boat capsizes and it's over. Or he goes into the water and sometimes God would allow us to get in a position to where there are no other options. And that's the problem with a lot of us. We have so many options. Well, if this situation don't work, well, I can do this. If that doesn't work, I can do that. And if this doesn't work, I can do this. Well, I can always do that. And we have all these other options in life. And it's cool, and you got the option. But the problem is that you never see the miracle. And so you're living your whole life in a repetitive circle, not seeing the miracle that's in the place of uncomfortableness, of unconventional, of out of the box, of out of the norm. This was not a normal storm that they was not expecting. and it hit them in a way that felt like their life was threatened. It made them so uncomfortable that they couldn't even determine that this was Jesus walking on the water. They couldn't determine if it was safe to stay in the boat or not. Their whole idea of sanity was questioned simply because of the storm. And the things about storms is they don't stay forever. There is not a storm that stays forever. All storms pass. See, they was already given instructions on where to go. Their destination was the other side. But on the way to the other side, they're put into this storm. So Peter walks out on the water. He walks to Jesus. Jesus allows this miracle to come. And now, before he can get all the way to Jesus, he sees a wave. He sees the storm. He starts to hear those voices again. He starts to see the lightning again. He starts to feel the waves again. And he begins to sink. His faith kept him all the way, almost to the point of connecting with Jesus. And now he sinks. Now, what's amazing to me about this is three things. One, Jesus is walking in the storm. They see Jesus, but the storm hasn't stopped. They're talking to Jesus. He said, "This is me. I'm here. Yeah, this is me." But the storm still doesn't stop. Peter's walking on water. He's defying the laws of physics and gravity. But the storm is not stopping. And the thing about it is that's just like us sometimes. We are in the middle of a storm. We hear God saying, "Do this." We can see God moving over here. We can even see different miracles. Him providing and making waves. But the storm is not stopping. The waves are still crashing. The thunder is still sounding. The lightning is still flashing. Like, the storm hasn't stopped. And so, because we don't see the storm stopping, even though we hear and see Jesus and see him providing, we figure, wait a minute, maybe I missed it. Maybe this ain't God. Maybe this something ain't right. He began to sink. And what Jesus does, he saves him. He grabs him. And the scripture says they step into the boat. The amazing thing about that is, what about if Peter would have kept his faith all the way to Jesus? See, a lot of the storms that we go through is just not for us. Some stuff is just not about you. And I know that just hurts your feelings because we're in a world of social media and Instagram. And you can be famous and everybody wants attentions and like and post. And now you have your own platform and your own everything. And so, the understanding that everything doesn't revolve around your thoughts and actions is, a little out of the box for you. But your storms have nothing to do with how many followers you have. Your storm has nothing to do with how much money is in your bank account. Your storm has nothing to do with your talents or your gifts or your ability to be able to be known and recognized. The storm has everything to do with where God is trying to show you and take you. And what if Peter would have kept the faith and walked to Jesus and turned around to the other disciples? And they all would have walked out on the water. What if? What about if you're just this close? You're one step away from changing the lives of the people who are with you. They're in the storm too. They're in the same storm you're in. They don't know what to do, just like you don't know where to go and what to do. You're just going to where you think Jesus is at. And so, what impact would it have made to the ministry of all of the disciples just walking out on water? I could imagine them walking to the other side and saying, "Look, we all just walked off." What level of faith would have changed? But that's not what happens in the story. In fact, what happens in the story is that when Jesus pulls him out of the water, they step right onto the boat. And the scripture says that when Jesus got into the boat, they was on the other side. Now, what about if he would have stayed in the boat? Jesus was already on his way to the boat. You're right to the edge. Like you're almost through the storm. And you're risking it all because you moved out of the place where Jesus told you to be in the beginning. In the boat. He was on his way to the boat. Jesus is on the way to your boat. He's about to step into your boat. It's cool that you're walking on water. That's great. He allowed it because that's grace. We have a gracious God. The funny thing about this is that throughout the whole story of the four Gospels, Matthew records it. And that's who we're coming from today. The story of Mark is from Peter. Peter actually used to tell Mark the stories about Jesus. And the thing about it is, Peter does not mention this story to Mark about the storm and him walking on the water. Now, I can't go into stipulations or go into imaginations of why he did it. But the point is, they was going to the other side. And they made it to the other side. And Jesus was with them in the boat when they got to the other side. And he was on the way to the boat while they was riding in the storm to go to the other side. Where you are going is to the other side. Don't allow the storms, don't allow the waves, don't allow the lightning, the thunder, the fear, the anxiety, the stress, the worry, the uncertainty, the unfamiliar place, the uncomfortableness. Those guys was probably soaking wet by the time they got to the other side because of the effects of the storm. But God wanted to show them that even in the storm, you can still make it to the other side. Listen, I'm so happy you guys came with me today. I'm so happy you guys are going with me to a journey. You don't know anything unless you know Jesus. And he's the greatest thing you could ever have in your life. It's free. His whole purpose of coming in life was to give his life just for you, just for your life. That's the only purpose why he came. And he wants to live inside of you and show you things that you never know and never could understand. You need Jesus in your boat. You need Jesus in your storm. So pray with me. If you don't know him, dear Jesus, come into my heart. Change my life. Show me who you are. I surrender to your will. Forgive me of everything that I've done. And come into my mind, soul, and body. And I'll love you all the days of my life. Amen. Now, if you pray that prayer, welcome to the kingdom. So happy to have you. Your life is really about to change for the glory. See, we all need a Savior. Life doesn't change because you are not saved. We all need a Savior. And I'm so happy you're with us. We're so happy you came to Power of the Voice. Listen, make sure you come and tune into the broadcast. I have a lot of great things that how God has given me to store for you and for his people. Next week, we're going to go a little bit deeper. Get your notebooks out. Get your pads out. Get your recorder out. We're going to go a little deeper next week. We're going to start shooting some broadcasts later today or this evening. And we're going to go into what called The Secrets of Daniel 10. I think I'm going to release that. I don't know. That may be a little bit heavy this early. But God has really been gracious to us. And we're going to just have fun and enjoy it. I'm so happy you're here to listen to Power of the Voice. Listen, find you a church. Get you a Bible. Open it up. Study this word. We're going to go deep. And your life is going to be changed. Revival is going to hit the country. As God is going to show you who he is. I'm so happy you was with me today. Hey, come back again. We'll have some more fun right here in Power of the Voice.